Than Looks coming, 10 happy rows on the inside. A wild finish that goes to More Than Looks. More Than Looks gets up under Jose Ortiz to win the Breeders' Cup Mile.
Like out of a cannon at the end, More Than Looks, your mile champion.
He's been trying to catch up the last 2 times he's run.
I'm Anthony Bartolo. For any new partners that are just signing on with Victory Racing Partners, I'd like to welcome you to our team, as well as say hello to all of our existing partners. This past Saturday was the Breeders' Cup. It was a fantastic 2 days of racing with an amazing Breeders' Cup Classic. Obviously, last 2 years we had been at the dance running in the Breeders' Cup Mile with More Than Looks. Brought the trophy upstairs for everybody to see. For those of you that were partners that weren't able to be at the race that day, and it was a little tough sitting on the sidelines this year and not to be there and have an entry into the race. Well, with that, it was a good edition of the mile. Last year, winning that race, we had a pretty tough field of horses, and this year it showed up to be the same with a lot of runners from all over the world. The turf races, they bring horses from all over the world in regards to England, France, Japan. You'll get horses from Australia. Turf racing is big all over the world, whereas dirt racing is really just big in America. So the turf races really are the world championship, in my opinion, because they bring runners from everywhere. So to win the Breeders' Cup Mile like we did last year, that was just tremendous for our team. This year's edition, Notable Speech, who was in our race last year, ended up winning. Ran a good race, basically came through the rail and won probably by about 4 lengths. He won in a time of 1:33.66 seconds, which was a full second slower than what More Than Looks did last year, to the testament of our great horse. And basically a second equals 5 lengths usually. So that just goes to show how fast the time it was that More Than Looks had run. Our trainer, Cherie DeVoe, had 3 entries in the Breeders' Cup this year, which is really fantastic for Cherie and how she is showing up at all the big dances these days. Out of her 3 runners, she had 2 second-place finishes, the one with Vava, and then in the last race, She Feels Pretty finished second, getting beat just at the wire. She got caught. She was really a jump away from winning a race. It was pretty tough beat, quite honestly, but a wonderful horse. Cherie's done a great job, and when I spoke to her, she certainly didn't have her head low about it. I mean, like she said to me, she's like, they put in solid efforts, and that's all you could ask when you're, running on a big day. Always loved betting the Breeders' Cup. The Breeders' Cup basically, again, brings the best from all over the world. And, if you're getting into the dance, you're capable of winning, whether you're the 5-2 favorite or the 30-1 underdog, a long shot. And that's what makes the betting day so great. It's very difficult to string winners together, and on those type of days, you'll see 25-1 shots come in, and that's what happened to knock me out of the pick 4. But basically, it's a day that you could really put together an exacta and hit and really clean up, especially the triples, the pick 5s, etc. If you're a multi-race wagering person, those days really pay pretty big. So, if you could catch it, it's always a good time. We kind of bailed out in the last race, catching the exacta with She Feels Pretty. Kind of was, was obviously hoping she'd be on top, but the horse that did win was longer odds, paid a big price, and really broke us out for the 2 days. The great thing about horse racing, I like to bring up is, if you're a bettor, you could play football and college, whatever. And, you go and you put in your wagers, and you could lose 5 straight bets. And, you really have to win 6 then with the VIG and everything that has to go along with it to basically get even. With horse racing, you could be playing all day long, be losing 6, 7 straight races, and with one race, clean up and make back everything you lost and then some. So that's the beauty of this sport. Our team of horses are all really young at the moment, and they're coming up and developing. So, this past year has been a little bit difficult. After More Than Looks retired, we really didn't have very many runners. We had Spin It and Close Up, and unfortunately, Spin It had a Rocket. I apologize, Rocket and Close Up, and Rocket had an early demise, unfortunately. So, we're really down to one runner. So we hadn't had a lot of runners this year. Our horses are just coming around now and running, and Close Up ran today. She's been inching closer to the finish line. She had, going into today, 11 races, 11 starts with 2 seconds and basically 3/3. She's hitting a board in the last 4 races, and today was really no different. She ran in at Laurel Park in a maiden claiming 16K lower level race, but she basically sat right off the lead. She was fighting with a horse that drew in from the 12th position that I was kind of worried about a little bit, and took it to her the whole way around. At the top of the stretch, she took the lead, and we had a blanket finish at the wire where she got beat by a head, well, really a neck. The 4 finishers were within a head and a neck of each other, finishing 4th by a neck. So it was really, I'd have to say, her best race that I've seen. I was very impressed at the way she's been moving forward. Her number definitely will jump up in this start here. In looking at it, turf racing in the Northeast is really going away soon. There was one last race that Maud shot out to me today. Looks like there's a race on the 28th of November, I think it is. The same exact race. We'll talk to Anthony Ferreira, the trainer, and see if that's a spot for her. It would be the logical spot as long as she came back healthy. So look for 3 weeks from now for Close Up to get back into the races, and hopefully that'll be the day that she breaks her maiden. Candy King, our 2-year-old gelding, since our last update, ran in his next start, and the race came off the turf, and he went on to win. It was very impressive, actually. He broke from what was that day? I think the 8 hole. And he came across, went to the lead. They put blinkers on the horse, the colt, that day, and he went straight to the lead, got to the backside, settled down, which was wonderful. And then when he came to the top of the stretch, horse was coming to him, and he found another gear and got to the wire in front. It was exciting for all our partners, great for Victory at this minute to just get a win. And I'm sure, that was a big deal for the horse. The first start at Keeneland was a very, very difficult race to jump into. And, it was deep water, but obviously he got a good learning experience. And this just goes to show, the trainers make the adjustments in a race that they see to bring us to move forward. And in this instance, Cherie did, put the horse out to the lead. The jock did a great job riding him, and the blinker change, etc. Staying on the, going to the dirt. That was fine for him because he could run over dirt. Not all horses could come off the turf and run on the dirt. So we stuck with it. He went on to win. We are looking for another race now. This, the next race is going to be a little more challenging. You're going up from after breaking your maiden, you have to run against winners. So he'll run in an allowance going over at Indy. There was a race on what was supposed to be the 6th. That race did not go for whatever reason. We're expecting them to bring that race back any day. And as soon as that race goes, he'll jump into that start as well. Obviously, if the race does come off the turf, we know he could run on dirt. So potentially run against a shorter field. So that'll be a mile on the turf. And, in this instance, we feel they have felt all along that Candy King would be a better horse on turf. So it would be great to just see him move forward. The next one that we need to talk about, the horses are in the Victory Racing Partners Fund A, which consists of 3 race horses. Breaking Hearts, our 2-year-old more than ready filly, she is the closest to making the race. She's had 2 races that she's entered, and both of them unfortunately came off the turf. She's a turf horse, so there's no. We're not going to take a chance of running her on the dirt. It wouldn't be good for her. They don't feel that this would be the right thing. So with that, there's been a couple of races that we have been waiting to enter. There was one on the 8th. It's Saturday at Churchill Downs. That race is going 1 mile against 2-year-old fillies for a purse of $120,000. Corey Lannery was going to be on board. Breaking Hearts is 8-1 morning line. She posts position 5 in a field of 12 starters. 4 horses are on the also eligible. So this race will be a full race, no matter if we have any scratches in the field. She's been doing great, training really well. This past week, she went a half mile over the Turfway track in 48-2, which ranked 9th best out of 102 at the distance that day, which was pretty strong. So she's coming in. She's coming in the right way. This is pretty deep water. There's some serious pedigrees in this race that are justified. A couple not this times, but she's a solid pedigree as well. So we're excited to see her make her debut, get the experience. That's exactly what we're looking for. You want to see competitiveness out of the horse, as well as she's going to get bumped around in a field like that. Maybe get some kickback over the turf, etc. Find her way, and show effort. That's what we're looking for here. And then from there, you make the necessary adjustments. Hopefully, they're all looking at her tail as we go through the wire. No Objection. In our last update, he had come up lame. They sent him out to the vet. He was x-rayed, and it came up that he had a cannon bone fracture. It was a non-displaced fracture. They inserted 2 screws into the cannon bone. He was sent the next day to Rood and Riddle in Lexington, and he came out of the surgery in great shape. I know it sounds terrible, a fracture, oh my gosh, on a horse, but in this instance, it's really, you couldn't even see the fracture. At least I couldn't see the fracture on x-ray, and I look at a lot of x-rays. But the vet, basically, there was something there, obviously, that warranted him having 2 screws put in to secure that joint. In speaking to Rebecca Maker, that's where he is right now at Rebecca Maker's in Lexington on the layup. He's doing great. He did 2 weeks of just stall rest. Since then, he's been walking for the past 2 weeks, and Rebecca was having him x-rayed 2 days ago. I didn't get any report back in regards to any issue. So the plan now is he gets turned out to a paddock turnout 4 to 5 hours a day, along with the walks. And, we'll then in 30 days re-x-ray him. And from there, they'll begin jogging again, and he'll light jog, then make a little bit more aggressive, and move forward towards working his way back to racing, to the starting gate. In talking to David and Gordo, our bloodstock agent who purchases our horses, David said, this is just a setback in time. He's 2, he's young, development issues do take place, and he's like on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 0.5 as far as concerning. So this should not affect No Objection's ability to be the racehorse that we think he is going to be. He shows great effort in the morning before this, and we are still extremely high on this horse, and this shouldn't be any anything more than, like David said, a setback in time. The Twirling Candy colt that we purchased, the third addition to the fund, he's has not yet been named. We've kind of been throwing around names. It hasn't been the easiest thing to name. When you have a candy ride as well as Twirling Candy, a lot of candies and the sweet names, etc., have been taken. So we like to come up with something catchy, of course. But with that, he's been training at Hidden Brook with Mark Roberts. We kept him over there until we were ready to figure out where he goes next, whether that be fairgrounds or stays down in South Florida. Mark says he's training fantastic. They shot us a video the other day of him going 3/8 with a half-mile gallop out, and Mark said he's ready to go. So he's ready to go to his trainer. We, again, are just waiting to figure out whether we're going to keep him in Florida or go to fairgrounds with him with Cherie. Cherie doesn't plan to be in Florida this year. So, we just want to make a decision on whether or not we're going to keep a horse in South Florida. The video of the Twirling Candy colt is on our YouTube channel, which I recommend everybody subscribe to. Just go to YouTube, look up Victory Racing Partners, and subscribe. There you'll find all of our recent videos, some of our races, your horse potentially, like I always say, horsing around, getting a bath, some barn visits that you may see, and it's excellent. You get an email update that comes through, and it just keeps you involved in what your horse is doing. Our recent purchases, our 2-year-olds, the Bolt Doro is down in, actually our yearling, I should say, is a New York bred yearling. Our Bolt Doro is down with Dr. Barry Eisman in Ocala, Florida. He started breaking about a week or 2 weeks ago. Barry tells me he's doing good. He, he's a May foal, so we kind of gave him a little bit more time after the Saratoga sale. Barry, held off on him a little bit, but he's got a bridle in his mouth. He's had a saddle on his back. He's, tack walking. So, he's getting used to that. Another week or so, he'll, have the rider in the saddle, and then he'll begin going to the track, jogging, and making his way to putting in the necessary miles for a thoroughbred racehorse to develop. He's a beautiful colt. I was watching Churchill Downs today, actually. And in the first race, Bolt Doro went on to win by about 5 lengths. And unfortunately, I had a bet on him, so that worked out pretty well. But Bolt Doros are actually doing very well on the track right now. He's been a pretty successful sire. This horse is priced very reasonably. For every 1% interest, he's $2,550, which includes expenses and mortality insurance through June 30th of 2026. We're excited about this horse. We are going to have a lot of 2-year-olds coming into play, and then intend in March and April to purchase some more 2-year-olds. So our yearlings will, of course, in January become 2-year-olds, and between the horses that we have in the fund, as well as Close Up, the 2-year-olds that we're bringing to the table, and our yearlings developing, we're going to be really stocked up again. This past month, back at the Fasig-Tipton October sale, we bought a beautiful essential quality yearling. David and Gordo purchased the horse for us. He has a solid pedigree. It's a dirt pedigree. It's a 2-turn dirt pedigree. The dam Spumoni was by Pioneer of the Nile. Anybody that knows Pioneer of the Nile was a 2-turn dirt horse. Basically, Spumoni was unraced but has 1 foal, and that horse was unplaced in its first start. But the foal's a 2-year-old, so we'll be paying attention to what that foal does. But our horse is absolutely beautiful. February foal looks quite like essential quality. roan gray horse, good looking horse. Good, has all the, I feel like I say the same thing every time I talk about our horses. But basically, David and Gordo and whatever bloodstock agent is buying for you, they have an eye for certain things that they look for. So what do they look for? Raciness, athleticism, good stride, etc. So when I mention these same things that I do about Bolt Duro, the essential quality, it's because David's buying that kind of horse that he likes to see. And this horse has all the boxes checked for what we want to see in a racehorse. Essential Quality was a tremendous racehorse. He was both the 2-year-old and 3-year-old champion on dirt. And, now this is his first crop of foals, and we have one, and we're really excited to be bringing one to the table. Essential Quality was a sire that I wanted to have on this Victory Racing Partners roster, and we were able to bring him in. We paid $160,000 for the horse. He's big, he's beautiful, and it's exciting to have him on the table. He is, for every 1% interest, is $3,150. That includes mortality insurance and all expenses through June 30th of 2026 as well. The colt is down there with Dr. Eisman, with his teammate Bolt Duro. He is also being broke at this point. Eisman gave him a couple days off. He came in, gave him a few days off to decompress, put him right into training and breaking him, bridle in his mouth, saddle on his back, and he's actually a little bit more forward than the Bolt Duro at this point. He's already has a jockey in the saddle riding around the paddock. So all is going good with this colt, as well as the Bolt D. We're really excited about him. You're going to want to look into these two. They're on the Victory Racing Partners website. Just go to victoryracingpartners.com. Under available horses there, you can see all our opportunities, and these two are really nice opportunities to get involved with. I must mention that the Bolt Duro colt, this Essential Quality is a colt as well, but the Bolt Duro colt is a New York bred. He will be stationed in New York. Makes sense. The New York racing that goes on, the pots are strong. The New York State spread races are a big deal. So Bolt D colt looks to be 2 turns dirt as well. With that, just wanted to remind you guys, like I mentioned earlier, to sign on to our YouTube channel. On our website, we have our Victory Racing Partners store, where you could go and get all the apparel necessary to represent at your next horse's race, from polos to quarter zips to t-shirts like this, both men and women, and in all different colors. Very reasonably priced stuff, and I think you really like what we have over there. From my partners and I, Maud, we'd like to thank you for trusting in us. We're very excited about what's to be with Victory Racing Partners. We're always looking to get back to the big dance and to get another one of these. Our goal and mission is always to run at the highest level of this sport. Doesn't always work out that way, but we're going to continue to try our best to get back to the dance. So I'd like to thank you all, and we'll look forward to seeing you at your horse's next start. Thank you.